Good day, everyone. It is our pleasure to have you with us today in this webinar entitled A Cut Above the Rest. Your next real estate offering brought to you by Coho by Vistaland. Here is an overview of the essential topics that we will be discussing today. How is the Philippine property market doing now? What to look for in a solid property investment? And lastly, what makes the Hermosa Coho a cut above the rest? Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our guest speaker. She is currently the Chief Executive Officer and the main force in putting up Lobien Realty Group Incorporated, a full-service real estate consultancy and property investment strategy firm engaged in commercial and office space leasing, capital investment, optimizations, and property acquisition and sales. Prior to Lobien Realty Group, she was the regional director and head of leasing of Fortune 500 property firm. She was also a general manager of Regis Manila and was one of those spearheads the novel concept of co-working and plug-and-play office space in the early 2000s. She advocates women empowerment and currently chairs the Women in Business Committee of the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, whose key activities provide you for mentor, networking, and other social activities geared towards uplifting women professionals in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Ms. Sheila Lobien.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. It's an honor to be part of Vistaland's webinar. And wherever you are, for all the attendees here, I hope you're all healthy and safe. I was invited to give you an update about what's happening in the Philippine real estate market. So before I open and share my slide, I will be discussing about the office market, which I always believe is one of the best barometers of a growing economy, because whenever an office space is built and taken, that means jobs are created in the market. And I'll also be talking about, obviously, the residential market, a bit about what's happening in the tourism, the hotel industry, and talk to you about the logistics, the warehousing industry, which at the moment is growing because of the growth of e-commerce. So let me pull out my slide now. There you go. All right. So this is the first slide. This is the GDP growth rate versus office rental rate. As you can see, the Philippine real estate market is very resilient. When I say resilient, because if you look at how many years, more than 2 decades here in the Philippines, the property market has always rebounds. No, this is the GDP growth rate versus office rental rate. And the Philippines, we've experienced several calamities, several economic issues globally and local. So the recent one is the global financial crisis. And as you can see, right after, when that hit in 2008, we felt it in 2009 and our growth rate fell. But less than a year, we've seen an upside, a kick, an upward trend. And that was the start of the boom in the BPO industry. And it has fueled a lot of property market segments. So the condominium market has boomed, the hotel, shopping malls. And today, when you go around, well, today we can't go around because of the pandemic, but prior to that, you'll notice that almost all the brands that we only see in Europe or Hong Kong or the US or the first world countries are already here in the Philippines. And from 2009 up to 2019, it was the highest growth that we've seen for the Philippines at 6.5 plus growth rate. And anywhere you go around the world, when the growth rate is at 6% plus level, that means the country is really doing well. And that was the picture. That was what's happening around the Philippines prior to pandemic. And right now, though we're experiencing these trying times, a lot of economic leaders and managers are still forecasting that by next year, we will be able to bounce back. And this is some numbers from ADB. They're saying that by 2021, we'll see what 5.6% growth. Some industry, economists are saying, JP Morgan, they're saying we'll hit what, 9%. So we want that. We're dreaming to have that high growth rate. But right now, as you can see, we've seen a decline because obviously when people cannot go out, people cannot spend, and a lot of businesses are affected. However, the real estate industry is one of the best, I'll talk to you about that later, but it's always one of the safest place to put your money and invest. And definitely land will always be there. So the next slide is about GDP construction percentage versus office supply. So it's just a follow up from the first one. And here, what I'd like you to see is that the office supply, no, and even this is for office and the GDP construction. So the government and everyone in the private sector are actively investing and constructing and putting their money in the real estate market. And as you can see, as I've shared, from 2009 onwards, an increase of not just in office supply, but in other parts of the real estate market. The hotel, the condominium market has boomed. So, and okay. And aside from those two, those are the, scenario, the last 20 years, and then currently. This one, I want to share this slide because it gives me hope all the time. This is prior the pandemic, and this is from Oxford Economics. And what they're saying is that the Philippines is part of the leading emerging markets that will dominate the global economy in the next decade. So 10 years from now, sana. But I think because of the pandemic, there will be some delay. But this is good news because we're in that top 10, meaning the Philippines is being viewed as one of the countries that is very promising and has this potential to be a first world country someday. And we want that. And this is not just, pulled from nowhere. It's based on facts and the GDP figures that I've shown earlier. The last 10 years, we've seen a continuous growth. The labor force that we have, how many young Filipinos are out there, all in the service industry mostly. And as I've said, everyone can speak English. And that's why a lot of outsourcing companies have grown here in the Philippines because of that talent, the Filipinos that we have here in the country. Now, let me go deeper and talk to you about the office market briefly. This is what's happening right now. Vacancy rate is 6%. And 6% is single digit. And anywhere you go around the world, when the vacancy rate is single digit, that means that the office market is booming. And almost all the office spaces are taken, fully leased. Today, of course, there are some vacancy because people are somehow working from home, and then we have skeletal workforce in the office market. But despite that, half of that has already been committed, and the average rental rate across Metro Manila in all CBD is at 1,000, almost 1,200 pesos per square. It's still very high. And a lot of people are asking, is the market, the office market, is already showing softening, or have you seen like 50% off the rate? We have not seen that, but some landlords, of course, are becoming flexible just to entice companies to stay or to retain what they have. This is the office supply pipeline. As you can see, for next year, 2021, it's still high at the supply is at 820,000 square meters. So higher compared to the supply that has entered the market this year. And out of that, we have already pre-commitment, 11%. And as we speak, some of the office spaces in the provincial area like Cebu, Davao, Iloilo are being taken even though there is this pandemic. And that's because they are looking at expanding outside Metro Manila and somehow pandemic proofing their operation. So of course, we'll see some decline in terms of construction in the next few years. However, I think that's good because if the demand will soften, then what will be supplied is just right and it will be taken. But we we're expecting that the outsourcing industry will bounce back next year when this COVID-19 has, will be contained within the next few months. And hopefully, once the vaccine is out there, then we'll see growth also in other parts of the property market, like the tourism and the hotel market. This is the average rental rate across Metro Manila. And obviously, Makati and Bonifacio Global City, Taguig area, they're the ones who are enjoying the highest rental rate at almost 2,000 pesos per square. And then if you want, to save on rental cost, you go either further north or further south. But even though, south right now, Alabang is doing 900 plus per square meter, which is very high compared to 5-10 years ago. This is the future office supply. From today until 3-4 years down the road, 3 million square meters of office space will be out in the market. So this is telling you that the big developers, the office market investors are very confident in the Philippine economy. Otherwise, they won't have this pipeline of office spaces. They've also made their study, their research, and this is based on demand. And as you can see, though the construction is being, not growing in the next few years, there is still pre-commitment and demand for office spaces. And if you ask me, who are the takers of these office, buildings? So 3 main takers, bulk of them, the outsourcing industry. But prior to that, the Chinese gaming companies were taking not just the office, but the condominium residential projects as well. And then the others would be local firms, conglomerates who are also upgrading their offices. So very healthy office market. And last year, we've seen a take-up of around 1 million square meters. Well, today is a different story, but prior to that, was a very healthy office segment, office property market. Now, we also have these township locations or mixed-use development, and bulk of that now are outside Metro Manila. 40% are within the CBD, but now because land is quite high now within the metro, a lot of big developers such as Vista Land, etc., are moving outside also and building mixed-use township projects wherein you can live, work, and play there. So this is somehow becoming not just a trend, but it's here to stay. And we also have this next wave cities. This is from the group of the outsourcing industry in the Philippines. So they're looking at outside the metro and into the provinces to also bring urbanization outside Metro Manila, employ Filipinos in the provincial areas, and of course, decongest Metro Manila. And this is an example, the Coho by Vista Land. I'm sure the group that we have here will tell you more about this project, but I'm just gonna touch on this briefly. And what I'd like to say is that this is the way forward. You want to live where you can, near your workplace also, or near all the things that you need, so that when another crisis or pandemic happens, even if you can't just go out, but in your area, you can find everything that you need. And this is growing. A lot of developers are into this, and Vista Land is also leading the way in developing projects such as this. The Hermosa Las Piñas project, of course, will be highlighted later to you. I'm from the south. I'm from Las Piñas, and I know the area quite well. I love this place because it's very accessible. So if you're working in Makati, there's this Skyway or there's the Naiya Road, whatever. It has so much access. It has many access near the airport, which is good if you travel a lot. Near the shopping malls and several other entertainment area nearby. So it has all the things that a millennial or a young professional would need. And the mall also is just nearby. All the things that you want can be easily taken from there. Now, the BPO market, just to touch on this briefly, it's one of the pillars of the Philippine economy because as of last year, I think we have recorded what 26 billion US dollars in terms of revenue. Next to OFW remittances, this is they're employing, the outsourcing industry is employing more than 1 million Filipinos right now. And despite the pandemic, they're still growing and they're taking up space. Last year, we've recorded around 330,000 square meters of space coming from the outsourcing industry. Productivity capacity. So if you're curious about what's happening now, because people cannot go out or we cannot fully utilize the office. So from April up to July, I think. So the BPO industry, the outsourcing industry companies have reported that they're able to increase their productivity, and now they can also productively work at home, and a mix, of course, are on site or in their offices. So they're able to adapt. These companies are able to grow despite what's happening in the market right now. And this is just a survey that was run by the BPO industry. And if you look at the middle bar, 47% of them are still expecting growth. That's a big chunk. And just a few, 18%, are expecting some reduction. Of course, there will be different forecasts, but this is good news. Many are still quite positive about the market here in the Philippines. And they're also looking at doing this Digital Cities 2025. These are some of the provinces that were identified that would be good because it has the talent, it will have the infrastructure, and almost all the developers, and even, of course, Vista Land, they're all over. They have land banked, and they have projects in several parts of this provincial areas. I'll skip on this. Then now we'll talk about the Pogo market, very controversial. They were just here, what, 5 years ago? But in the last 5 years, they've well, they're now what, 1.14 million square meters of office space. So that's 10% of the total office stock. Quite big, but many have it's a bit not stable right now because of what's happening. There's travel ban, and of course, the government is also trying to regulate them. So prior to pandemic, they were very active in taking all the condos left and right, not just condo, but properties here in the Philippines. Today, they're quite, silent. Let's see what happens after, things are somehow more stable. And then we go to the residential condo market. As you can see, bulk of the existing supply or bulk of the condos that we have right now here in the Philippines, they're in that middle market range, targeting the, BPO employees, OFWs, young Filipinos, and or young families who are starting and they want to live near the places of their work. So from 1.5 million to about 70 million, those are the big chunk. And then 3 years from now, we still see that bulk of the supply in the residential market would be in that segment, which is very in demand. A lot of Filipinos, it's still our dream to have our own house, our own place, our own condo, a place where we can call, ours, our own. So that's a Filipino dream. And the big developers and Vista Land are addressing that need right now. Similar to the office market, as you can see, the most expensive, of course, would be in the Makati, BGC area. And then you go either northern part of town or southern part of town to get a lower price per square meter. So these are some of the trends that we will expect moving forward now from condo developers, because during the lockdown, many were they realized that it's not sustainable to be in a very small condo, and if it's not well ventilated and you're stuck there for 3 months, it's something that will will not be good for your mental and emotional wellness. So today, a lot of developers are looking into increased township development. So the condo project or the residential project should be very accessible near the transportation. And then developers are also very conscious now of what they will build, if it's addressing the millennials, the BPOs, the OFWs. And of course, they have a lot of affordable and incentives that they're giving now to attract the market that they want. And as I've shared, to be future proof somehow, a lot of these developers are now looking at providing their clientele or their market with more recreational space, open condo wherein fresh air can come in, if possible, balconies, because people realize that you need that to somehow sanitize your area, make it healthy, and that will be part of what we will see moving forward. No, property management, the cleanliness of the facility will play a very big role, and that's why you have to look at the developer, how they have managed their previous project when you're looking at acquiring new projects in the future. And Vista Land is very aware of this. And as you will see later, they'll talk about how they've managed to make their project somehow future proof, pandemic proof, and ready for the young millennial or young Filipinos who would like to live near all the action where you can work, live, and play all in one area. Now, the retail market, obviously, they are heavily hit because of this pandemic, and the malls somehow are experiencing a very bad sales. People, of course, are scared to go out because of, you don't want to, there's no vaccine yet. And until there is vaccine, then I think the confidence of everyone will not be back. So a lot of these shopping centers and developers have repurposed their malls. Some are offering it for warehousing, some are offering it as a temporary office space. So these are the things that these developers are doing to adapt. And many of the developers have also given rental concessions, rental holidays to the ground floor takers or restaurants or all the retailers, obviously because the foot traffic has been affected with what's going on. Tourism and hospitality industry, not a good story. We're always affected with what's happening locally and globally, economically and politically. When there's a disaster also, and as you can see, we follow the trend also in the office market and in the residential market, but the tourism, the hotel industry, they're the most affected with what's going on. And you can see the decline this year in terms of tourism revenue. And even domestic tourism has stopped. Foreign arrivals also have stopped. And therefore, a lot of these hotel developers are also repurposing their asset. Some of them are offering their rooms to the BPO employees, locals who would like to just stay there and, to avoid the commute, right? And even the conference rooms are being offered as an office, temporary office, because we obviously cannot compact or use the whole office area right now. We have to follow this social distancing rule. These are some of the insight for the tourism industry. And as I've shared, the cleanliness of the property will be very important, how the developers are managing that. And until such time that the vaccine is out there, I don't think the confidence will be back. We don't want to travel. We might as well stay where we are and be safe with our families. The logistics market, this is one of the bright spot, and the warehousing industry has boomed because of the growth in the e-commerce. And as you can see, in this sector, they're forecasting a 8.8% growth rate in the next 3 years, and it's projected to be a trillion peso market by 2023. I can't even count that, it's so big, but it's one of the bright spot. At least the warehousing industry is growing. because of the growth in e-commerce. People are now buying things online. And this just if you're curious how much is the rental rate for the warehousing industry, it follows the office market and the condo market. The more it's inside the CBD, the more expensive it gets. And then if you want to go further, then you get a lower rental. And just like the township and mixed use projects, the warehousing, the logistics market have also grown outside Metro Manila. And a lot of big players are focusing on this because we need to improve our logistics market, our warehousing industry, so that goods will be transferred and will be delivered wherever we are. And this is one of the bright spots for us. So what's the new normal now, given the scenarios, given what's happening out there? So the new normal should be business as usual, but of course with the balancing of how companies or the CEOs or the managers will also address the health and safety of their employee. It has to be a balance of both. The economy has to move forward, because if we will only think of just staying home and not doing anything, then the economy will collapse. And we don't want that. When there's nothing out there, then we will also have no food to eat, right? And that's not what we want. We want the economy to move back to where it was, because the Philippines was already a darling, not just in Asia, but all over the world. When big companies talk about outsourcing, they go to Philippines because of the talent. The Filipinos, we smile, we're hardworking, we speak English, very young, while the rest of the world are aging Filipinos, very young and highly employable. So that's why a lot of big companies have stayed and have entered the Philippine market. So the Build project is one of the things that I'm excited about personally, because it will make the Philippines, one of the, our long-term goal is to be a first world country someday, similar to what you see in Singapore or in Hong Kong, wherein you can travel easily from one place to another. And that's the sign of an economy that's booming, when everyone is using the public transportation. Here in the country, we use cars a lot. Obviously, not everyone is commuting, because like expats can't go and use the LRT, the MRT. But in Hong Kong, in Singapore, or in other parts of the world, the first world country, people are commuting using the public transportation. And that's what we want to happen here in the Philippines. Maybe 10, 20 years from now, who knows? We hope that we're all still alive, that we can see it in our lifetime, or our children can see it in their lifetimes. And the Build project is something that I always support, and will be good for all of us, especially us in the real estate industry, because once the roads, the airports, the connectivity, the internet connection, the telecom connection are all up and running and good, then more and more companies or investors will enter the market. And that's good for all of us, because they will hire Filipinos, they will hire local. And when there are jobs out there, of course, people will have money to spend. They will eat outside, they will buy their homes, they will spend, and that will make the whole economy move up again. So if you want to know more about the projects of the government, you can just log on to the DPWH website, and you can see all the updates that's happening out there. And just a tip, you have to look at where all these projects are happening, because definitely once all these infrastructure projects are done, then the value of the land nearby or where it will hit will obviously either move twice or thrice or more than, I don't know how many times it can go up when everything is okay. So in summary, these are the near-term expectations that we see in the market. So the office market is, of course, expected to rebound. It's not, you can't sustain working from home all the time. Well, depending probably on what you do, but human, all of us, we need to interact, and we're more productive when we're outside, we're meeting people, when we are discussing face to face. So that will stay and that will remain. Once, of course, this pandemic is addressed, it will somehow slowly move up again. And as I've shared, we're the #1 call center in the world. when companies talk about outsourcing, they think about the Philippines. And then we're second when it comes to non-voice, higher value work. India is number one because they do have a lot of engineers. And that's why the Philippines also, we have to improve our educational system so that the higher value work, the higher paid jobs will be outsourced here in the country for engineers and accountants. So they don't have to go abroad. They will just stay here and they will be employed and they will also have high income. No, and the residential and hotel sector, of course, will continuously advocate this health and safety, the cleanliness, natural ventilation, and as I've said, the developers will look into providing more light, fresh air, open spaces that will be, enjoyed by the occupiers or the people who are residing in the area. And the logistics and warehousing market right now is thriving. And that's because of the growth in e-commerce. People now are used to buying things online. But us Filipinos, we're still a mall lover. If you want data, no, four of the biggest malls in the world, they're found in the Philippines. And that's because we love to go to the malls. It's a family thing. It's a place for us to enjoy, relax, and bond with our family, and save on electricity cost also because it's cooler in the mall than inside your house. So I don't think it will go. The malls will stay there because we're a mall loving people. But for now, of course, we have to take care of our health and safety. So we try to avoid going out and just go out if we really have to. Um, that's the end of my presentation. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. And if you want to know more about what's happening in the market, you may follow us online. You may check our website as well. And with that, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. So that's us.
Thank you, Ms. Sheila Lobien, for sharing a very pertinent update and essential insights on the Philippine real estate industry today. Indeed, the real estate sector continues to be shining with a lot of opportunities for prospective investors and real estate entrepreneurs. Now, moving forward to guide us in what to look for in a solid property investment, I would like to call on Coho by Vistalent's brand manager, Mr. JC Gonzalez.
Hi guys. All right. So good day everyone. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. So earlier we heard about the prospects of the real estate industry from Sheila, and clearly there are a lot of opportunities waiting for those who are keen to take advantage. Investment opportunities abound in the market, even in the middle of the pandemic situation where we are in right now. In fact, the Philippines real estate sector is seen by many as one of the big realms where gain-seeking investors and entrepreneurs are actively prowling for value negotiated deals. While it cannot be denied that the pandemic situation where we are in right now has inflicted a taming or dampening of the demand for the residential real estate sector, this is viewed by many industry observers, analysts, practitioners, and opinion leaders alike as limited and temporary. As we've seen in the previous episodes of economic crisis in the country, such as the Asian financial crisis in 1997 and the global financial crisis of 2007. So in both instances, so as also shared by Ms. Sheila earlier, capital values have bounced back big time, immediately in the year following the economic turmoil. This trend in history is what gives optimism to stakeholders to believe that the real estate sector will successfully buck another downtrend For smart, cunning, and risk-taking investors, though, the world does not stop with this pandemic. In their eyes, the crisis presents itself as a must-not-miss opportunity to advance their investment objectives. And to take advantage of this opportunity, they are called to thoroughly scan the market and meticulously assess the top options for optimal investment benefits and maximum investment returns. Well, there are a lot of real estate developments to choose from in the market. One developer is creating waves in the residential condominium sector and makes a bold statement as having a cut above the rest. Coho, short for Condo Homes, is Vistaland's brand for modern, exclusive, and high-quality condo developments in Metro Manila and key cities nationwide. And it presents itself as an investment asset that stands out to crystallize and achieve the agenda of wise and discerning investors. So allow me to introduce to you briefly what Coho is all about. So Coho, again, is short for Condo Homes. It is the newest brand of Vistaland. And Vistaland is the Philippines' largest home builder and one of the leading integrated property developers. No? And when we say integrated, it's no longer just the residential segment of the real estate sector that we are providing. Together with residential, we are already complementing it with commercial, retail, lifestyle hubs, even we also have units for education and healthcare. So with all these units together, we are able to provide a more complete and sustainable experience for our residents and investors. So on top of, for a lot of condo developments, being resort inspired has become a basic or a must, because a lot of people today are really looking for a respite from, the hustle and bustle of the city. So that's something that Coho also has. It's a resort-inspired development that provides a relaxing ambience to go with your modern and premium city living experience. So our spaces are complemented by commercial, lifestyle retail spaces that bring residents closer to all they need for a comfortable, modern, and exclusive city living experience. And beyond that, the capacity to provide an upgraded lifestyle experience, Co by Vistaland presents itself more than anything else as an investment asset that is well poised to grow in value. So our target market of affluent and upwardly mobile individuals and families can grow their value with their investments value with Coho through capital value appreciation, leasing revenue, and of course, what we find distinct with our developments being mid-rise. Say mid-rise, those are 15 stories and below. So having mid-rise developments allow us to provide our clients with a shorter business cycle, allowing them to have a concrete, a definite, and an occupiable investment asset in 36 months or 3 years or even shorter. No? And that's comparable versus the other condo developers who who feature higher floors for their buildings. So Coho, it's all about premium investments, premium developments, and premium lifestyles. So I'm showing you our value proposition. So as a premium investment, we've got really strategic locations. Our projects are hosted in progressive and highly accessible cities, very convenient access to key establishments, and has access to key infrastructure developments. Again, we are also anchored on mixed use developments. We call them Vista Townships that create synergy among its residential, commercial, retail, and leisure components. And we present a really viable business opportunity. Imagine having an asset, a real estate asset, ready for you. You no longer have to, toil or struggle with construction or defining architectural plans. So it will be prepared. It will be served to you, an investment business, a business investment asset that will give you the higher returns in the coming years. Premium developments being a modern condo village. So being mid-rise, our developments are, we call them vertical villages, condominium villages that are sprawling, and they have the signature suburban feature. So while you are in the city, it's as if you are not in the busy city because you are still surrounded by exquisite landscapes, really verdant trees around you, tree-laden paths, jogging paths, and road networks around. So that's something that we offer. So we combine the convenience of a condominium and the refreshing ambience of a suburban subdivision. So together, that makes a modern condo village. And on the backdrop, again, is the relaxing condo resort ambience, replete with resort-inspired amenities that offer a relaxed and laid-back atmosphere in the middle of the city. Of course, we also say that our developments, we are proud that they are safe and exclusive, being of lower density, having about 20 residents or 20 units in a floor of our mid-rise buildings. And we've got more spacious unit layouts at 30 square meters for one bedroom and 40 square meters for two bedrooms. And beyond that, we benefit from the synergy of our affiliates in the retail sector to provide a distinct and upgraded lifestyle experience. So, Coffee Project, one of the most Instagram worthy coffee shops around the world at rank 24. You've got Aldi Supermarket, a really innovative and fresh supermarket. All Home is a one-stop home improvement hub. And Vista Cinemas, an entertainment room. So we've got all these because every Coho development has is complemented by a retail space, either as a commercial strip within our developments or a commercial complex or a full-fledged mall, which is beside or a short drive away from our property. So beyond this, our units are also home automation ready. So you get to enjoy the convenience of your mobile phone controlled household electronic devices. So that is becoming the new normal for Coho. So all these value propositions, it is what Coho stands for. Premium investments, premium developments, and premium lifestyles. And again, we are part of the huge empire, the business empire of the Philippines' richest man, no less than our founder and chairman, Sir Manny Villar. So he's our founder and chairman, and he's ranked 286th among the world's top billionaires with a net worth of about $5.6 billion, according to Forbes. Okay, so this is showing you how big the business empire of the Philippines' richest man is, and together with these affiliates, we are able to provide a complete lifestyle experience. So that's what Coho is all about. So what makes Coho a cut above the rest? So one is accelerated capital value appreciation. So we have a track record for accelerated value appreciation of our developments. So here's the figures for you. We got 70,000 per square meter when we opened project 3.5 years ago. But today, its value has grown or shot up to 155,000 per square meter. So that's 120% property appreciation in just 3.5 years, or about 36% compounded annual growth rate. And despite this pandemic, value of Coho developments managed to increase by 22%. So from 3.79 million average contract price of our minimum packages, they have grown to 4.6 million to date. And Coho drives property appreciation versus industry growth average of 30%. We have 65% growth for our clients. So second, we've got progressive locations energized by infrastructure. So these are the list of key infrastructure developments surrounding our condominium villages. So the Courtyard in Taguig, the Hermosa in Las Piñas, the Meridian in Bacoor, and Pine Suites in Tagaytay are all surrounded by these high-value ticket infrastructures. And we've got integrated and master plan vista townships that fit the new normal. So Coho connects you to the things that matter to you. So live in the realization of a vision, explore a life where you can be more, create beautiful lifestyle. So imagine being surrounded by all the conveniences of having a coffee shop nearby, as not just a coffee shop, but co-working space for you, and that will fuel your business and other endeavors. Being surrounded by Vista Mall and All Home, these are things that you will appreciate in Coho. And of course, be with the crowd of your type. So for Coho developments, premium value begets premium potential. The privileges that Coho's premium developments bring to the table are aspired by many, but can only be accessed by a few who have the means to a residential and lifestyle experience that is a class all by itself. A private and exclusive development, Coho has the vibe that will attract no less than your crowd. So with all these reasons, real estate developments are not made equal. While each has a value to offer, real estate investors and entrepreneurs are quick to count, measure, and weigh and judge which ones will best align with their objectives. And inevitably, there will be labels, classifications, and distinctions. There will be overweights, equal weights, underweights. In this case, one saying rings a bell. You get the value of what you pay for. If you don't want to get shortchanged in terms of investment returns, then don't settle for anything less. Go for premium, go for one that is a cut above the rest. Go for Coho. So I hope I was able to provide you a good overview of what Coho is all about. All right? So that ends my part.
Thank you, Mr. JC Gonzalez, for walking us through on what to look for in a solid property investment through Coho by Vistaland project portfolios. And now to present Coho by Vistaland's premium condo development in the Global South, may I call on Ms. Stephanie Hara, Project Head, The Hermosa.
All right, good morning, everyone. So earlier, Sir JC Gonzalez discussed our new brand Coho. So today I will be presenting one of our best-selling projects in Vistaland nationwide. What makes our communities beautiful and stylish are the collaboration created by the residential, commercial, retail, and leisure projects of the master planned integrated property developments of Vistaland, the Vista Townships. Bringing beautiful lifestyle within your reach, Vistaland presents the Vista City Global South. This is a synergy created by the residential, commercial, retail, offices, and leisure projects of the master plan development of Vistaland within C5 Extension Las Piñas. With convenient access to Cavitex and LRT1 Cavite Extension, it is a high potential investment asset that offers an upgraded city living experience just a short drive away from NAIA and Mall of Asia. Vista City Global South is a sprawling 100-hectare master plan township. This is located in C5 Extension Las Piñas. It is directly connected to the left side of the screen, that is the Coastal Road, which connects to Mall of Asia and Entertainment City. This makes our project 9 kilometers away from the Entertainment City, approximately 15 to 20 minutes. And then on the right side of the screen, C5 Extension is directly connected to Sukat Road, which is our direct access going to NAIA, which makes our project 10 to 15 minutes from NAIA Airport. All right, so in C5 Extension Road, in the center of the slide, as you can see, this is where our master plan township is located. We will be having the following developments. On the left side of C5 Extension is the future LRT1 Las Piñas station. So from the existing line of LRT1, we will be having additional 8 stations from Baclaran, namely Asiana, NIA, Asia World, NAIA, Deer Santos, Las Piñas, and then going to Zapote and Nyog. All right, so Las Piñas station is 2 kilometers, approximately 5 minutes from our project. And then right across the future LRT1 is the San Ezequiel Moreno Church. San Ezequiel Moreno Oratory is a church built in honor of the Holy Pastor of Las Piñas, San Ezequiel Moreno. And then right beside the San Ezequiel Moreno Church is the Villar Sipag Complex. This is a performance and events place. And then right beside the Villar Sipag Complex is the Melo Hotel. This is the newest venture in the hospitality industry by Vistaland and Lifescapes. The hotel utilizes design elements inherent to its location. And then also we have All Home Global South. This is a one-stop shop for all your home and builder's needs. All right, so right behind All Home is the Tent. From the biggest real estate developer in the country comes the newest and largest tent venue in the South, the Tent at Vista City Global South, that can accommodate up to 5,000 guests. And then, of course, the remaining highlighted areas is allotted for the upcoming developments of Vistaland, which are the offices, commercial, and entertainment hubs. Now, to further explain the upcoming developments in the area and the existing developments that we have, first off, we have the Melo Hotel. Melo Hotel Las Piñas is the first of 4 projects under the Melo Hotel brand. The building is designed by the renowned architect Ed Gallego, and the hotel interior is designed by Miss Ivy and Cynthia Almario of Grit Designs. The hotel consists of 132 rooms designed and decorated with elements that are distinctly Las Piñas. The hotel features world-class amenities, various dining options, banquet halls, and of course, conference rooms. Next, we have the All Home. All Home is committed to make achieving home goals possible for its customers, as every store has added value services like free interior styling, furniture assembly, and even installation of water heater and decorative lights. Next development is the Tent. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte led the inauguration of the Vista Group of Companies, the Tent at Vista City Global South. Again, this is the biggest tent venue in the south of Metro Manila. Away from the traffic congested areas in Metro Manila, the tent with a capacity of 5,000 is the newest venue for personal and corporate events. The 3,800 square meter space is fully air conditioned and features a guest lounge and an area for event suppliers. All right, next we have the Villar Sipag Events Place. Villar Sipag provides a unique and outstanding venue. Villar Hall is elegantly designed with a Mediterranean-inspired architecture and a unique interior design to make any gathering convenient. The Villar Hall is a classy venue with an exquisite ambience, yet very reasonably priced. No? So for the accommodation, they have built different amenities that will cater the number of your participants as to the nature of your event. They have 1,000 seating capacity, ballroom, theater, courtyard, and lounge area. And then lastly, for the existing developments, we have the San Ezequiel Moreno Church. This oratory is under the jurisdiction of the parish of St. Joseph, the famous St. Joseph Las Piñas Bamboo Organ Church. The church is inspired by the architectural elements of the Spanish colonial period. This is a 700-seater church and will be column-free edifice with a grand adoration chapel. Designed by the world-class firm architect Claude Edwin Andrews and master planned by DQA Design and Planning Inc. And of course, we are expecting a lot of value appreciation in the coming months and years because of the upcoming developments in our area. So first, we will be having the LRT1 Cavite Extension Project. So the proposed extension will stretch the existing 20.7 kilometer LRT line to 32.4 kilometer and is designed to integrate seamlessly into the existing system. It will connect into the existing line immediately south of Baclaran Station and continue to run southward. Now, it will traverse through the cities of Parañaque and Las Piñas and will end at the barangay of Bacoor, Nyog Bacoor, sorry. So the Cavite extension will feature 8 more stations from Baclaran, increasing the total number of LRT stations from 20 to 28, specifically for the LRT1. The 8th station will be located at the Redemptoris, Nia, Asia World, Naiya, Deer Santos, Las Piñas, Zapote, and then Nyog. The first 5 stations of the extension will be built in the first phase, while the remaining of the 3 stations is scheduled for completion by 2022. And then for the Las Piñas station, this is 2 kilometers from our project, approximately 5 minutes drive, and also can be walking distance. Okay, so next, we will be also having a Vista Mall in Vista City Global South, where we offer you great selection of stores and dining places. For the next development, we have the C5 South Link. C5 South Link is a toll road project, approximately 7.7 kilometers. This is connecting R1 Expressway to SLEX C5. This project aims to, of course, decongest the city traffic and connect the major roads of Makati and Taguig to Cavite, Parañaque, and Las Piñas. Also, we will be having the Vista Hub, a business center with innovative features, perfect for BPO industry and office space for rent. The development of Vista City's commercial and business district, the Vista Hub, is well underway with the planning stage as of now. Vista Hub details is set to be launched soon. Some of the Vista Hubs are already operating in Taguig, Molino, Las Piñas, and Alabang. And then lastly, Villar Group proposed to build an integrated resort and entertainment hub in the Las Piñas area. The proposed casino will be developed and operated by the Pavi Group. This is around 10 to 15 hectare site in C5 extension. All right, so next, aside from the future developments, we have the key establishments like the Naiya Airport. Again, on the other side of C5 extension is the Sukat Road, which directly connects to Naiya, which makes our project 5 kilometers from Naiya Airport. And then next, we have the Entertainment City. Now, the C5 extension Las Piñas is directly connected to Coastal Road, which connects us directly to MOA area or the Entertainment City. That is why we are just 9 kilometers, approximately 10 to 15 minutes drive from our project. All right, so we are very proud to present our first residential project of Vista Land here in Vista City Global South, the Hermosa Las Piñas. So exclusive and modern condo living near Naiya and Bay Area. All right, so it has remarkably developed as a real estate investment, well poised to appreciate in value with propositions that perfectly fit its name as a standard of beauty. Here are some of our building perspectives. The Hermosa proves to be the best option for young professionals, starting families, and discerning investors who want to get a piece of Las Piñas. So its enhanced accessibility provided to surrounding road networks sure to offer an exciting and distinct residential experience and upgraded lifestyle in the middle of the blooming landscape. Choosing the Hermosa is the second nature to those who want to add premium living. Holistically, investing in the Hermosa is choosing breakthrough in the metro. Coho properties come with sophisticated building features. Next slide, please. This is our functional amenities. This beauty is enhanced by the serene ambience, by the suburban living away from the usual hustle and bustle of the city. What adds charm to each of the development is a complete set of revitalizing amenities that add value to the investment. All right, and congratulations to our investors. The property has a growth rate of 58% from the launching date. All right, so of course, this is not yet late for the new investors to invest because we are still expecting a lot of value appreciation in the coming years or even months because of the upcoming developments in our area. All right, and for the inventory update, Building 1 is already sold out. For those who are interested, we are now accepting letter of intent or reservations for Building 2. So price starts at 4 million. This is for a studio unit at 24 square. All right, as for the sample computation of this unit, requirement is 30% down payment. So that is 1.2 million. Reservation fees 40,000. Our down payment is payable in 36 months. So that is around 32,222 every month. And then the remaining balance, which is the 70%, is our loanable amount. All right, so that's it for our project here in the Hermosa. The floor is now open for your questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you once again, Ms. Stephanie Hara, for showing us a world-class master plan development in the Global South, the Hermosa Coho by Vistaland. So again, we are now accepting questions, no, regarding regarding the topics that was discussed by Ms. Sheila Lobien, of course, from Lobien Realty, Ms. Stephanie Hara, our project head, the Hermosa, and of course, Sir JC Gonzalez, our brand manager. Okay, we have we'll be citing questions here in our chat box. So to our panelists, you may feel free, of course, to answer all the questions from our audience. All right, we have here our first question. Okay, I think this one is for Miss Sheila, I think. Miss Sheila, hello, ma'am.
Yes, hi, hello.
All right, we have a question here. What do you think about the Hermosa? I mean, do you think this is a good investment? And given the potential of the area, do you recommend to invest during this time?
Well, in general, I would say investing in real estate market in any given time is always welcome and should be done. Well, first, if you have extra, you have the money and you're looking for where to place it. Of course, we're talking about someone who has enough cash and have already addressed all the basic needs, right? And investing in property market, whether it's a condo or a house, is always a good move. I will share my personal experience. Earlier also, you've heard that after the global financial crisis, the property values have dropped. And so a lot of people have bought properties during that time in 2008, 2009, when the market is somehow bleak, right? I bought a property at that time, and 10 years, in less than 10 years, of course, the value of the property that I bought during the global financial crisis have not just multiplied by, not just multiplied, but it was able to multiply by seven times. So that's a lot, right? So I would say that if you guys are looking at investing, you always have to look at the developer. And Vista Land is, as I've shared, it's one of the big developers in the country here in the Philippines. They have the track record, they have the cash, they have all the network also. And they're not just in the condominium market, they're also in the malls, in the housing. So they're pretty much everywhere. So very stable developer, and they know what they're doing. Now, if you're looking at the property, you have to look at it as, even if you're not the one using it, if it's just for your investment, you have to like it, right? You have to love the product or the condo that you will buy, so that you can hold on to it for the longer, for the long period, because you're not there just to flip it right away. Property investment is always a long-term play. So whether you'll use it personally or you will invest, just you will buy it for investment, it has to be something that you like. And with all the features that Hermosa has, it's a no-brainer. It's something that you should really consider seriously. So there.
All right, thank you, Miss Sheila. We have a follow-up question here. Many are still skeptical in investing in
Mhm.
condos. So, what advice can we give, most especially to those seller who are offering condominium, of course?
Well, condo, of course, Filipinos, us, no, we're always into the house and lot. Kasi yun yung Filipino dream. Everyone, even our mom and dad before, their dream was, after graduating from college, once they have their jobs, work and all, they will buy their house and lot. Ganon, that's the dream. But today, somehow it has evolved. It's kind of modern, and a lot of young professionals are into the condo living. Condo living has become popular because land now is very expensive, especially near the metro, especially if it's in the center, right? When it's near all the commercial area. And the condo market has addressed that. You can buy a portion, and the price, of course, is not that heavy, easy to swallow for young professional. And you always look at condo investing as it's like a forced saving. If you have
Uh-uh.
enough cash, you have extra money, somehow you put it there and you pay on a monthly basis, and then you acquire it after, so you benefit from the capital appreciation. Because like what you have shared, no, from 70,000, what, 4 3 years ago, today you can easily buy or get it at 140,000. So the property value has doubled easily without doing anything. So it's higher compared to putting your money in the bank. So I always look at that. And condo market, the condo market was very, very healthy, obviously, because of last time, because of the Chinese, the condo market was taken by these POGO, and the BPO industry is still here and very much growing. And there's always a room for that. So even if you will not use it, or sorry, even if it's not for investment, no, you can always use the property naman. And that's why I said you have to really like it, because if you don't like the property and you really just bought it in the hope of someday sana tumaas, umakyat yung value, and then your money, you get your return, and then your the profits also, no. But look at it as long term. It has to be something that you will love and enjoy, because if that was the first intention, then even if you're stuck with the property for how many years, you'll be happy keeping it.
All right, thank you, Miss Sheila, for a very precise answer. We have another question here regarding office spaces. They're asking if, sorry, how much of the office space shown is co-working space? Probably they're asking about the percentage of the co-working
Mm-mm.
space.
The challenge there, it's not really tracked properly compared to the office market, wherein developers are really putting the number of square meters. In the co-working segment, it's counted based on number of seats. So it changes, it varies, because the developers or the providers are computing it on a per seat basis and inclusive of everything. So we can't really say whether it's 10% of the office stock, 1% of it, but it's growing. And the big players there are the global companies such as Regis. They're all over, and WeWork, they're already here, but they're not as big as the other brand that I mentioned. And then almost all the developers now are into the co-working somehow, because as I've said, no, it's growing because many also cannot afford the initial capital expense. It's not easy to set up an office, and the co-working business have addressed that, and they're always located in the central area in the CBD, very accessible, very presentable location, near transportation, so it's easy to attract employees also. And it's growing because the cost is on a per seat basis and flexible. You can shrink, you can expand anytime, which you can't get in a permanent office because you're there for the long term, like 3 years to 5 years minimum. And the co-working, you can do it on a daily basis, hourly basis, monthly or yearly. So it's very flexible.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sheila. We have probably last two questions.
Mhm.
This one is from Ms. Cheryl Ignacio. Actually, it's a personal encounter. She's asking a seller of a commercial property in Bulacan who has received an offer for a 2-year installment. He is worried of a payment term longer than 12 months with the fear of peso devaluation. So they're just asking your insight
Mhm.
about this. I mean, peso devaluation.
Well, that's a tricky question, but good question, no? Right now, yes, that's the sad part. So you really have to, make an analysis, a strong decision making when that's happening. What do you normally do? I'm just curious for Vistaland when that's the case.
Regarding
Yeah, when there are cases like that.
well, in our case, actually, we still offer longer terms to our clients,
Okay.
regardless or despite peso devaluation. We extend
Mm-mm.
our DP terms to make it more
Mm-hmm.
friendly to our clients, of course. So I think
Because
it's more
mhm,
beneficial to them, most
mhm.
especially in the condominium segment.
Yeah, because it's like a forced saving, right? You don't want to pay
Right, right,
so
right,
high. So somehow you're buying now the hopes that in 2, 3 years the property will be turned over to you,
right, right.
and you didn't feel the payment. You just paid on a regular monthly basis. Well, I don't think the peso will just
Right.
devalue it that low, and you'll really feel the hit of that, no? So yeah, that's just basically my take.
Yeah, there might be risk involved, of course, in terms
Yeah,
of investing, but it's
but
just
very
part of it.
minimal, I
Right,
think.
right. It's part of it. Anyway, I
Mm.
think that would be the last question, Ms.
All right.
Sheila. Thank you for
Okay.
answering all the questions coming from our audience. So you may also ask if you have questions, you can still chat on our chat box, and then we'll try to answer all of your questions. All right. Thank you, Ms. Sheila.
Thank you.
And of course, to extend her message and officially end this webinar, may I call on Coho by Vigilant General Operations Manager, Ms. Jennifer de la Cruz.
Okay, hello everyone. Earlier, we have heard a very good reason to be very optimistic despite of the pandemic and crisis that we are in. Every industry right now is in the survival and adaptation mode. This is where we gauge how resilient the Philippines in all aspects. After hearing a very hopeful, positive, and confident review of our economy, Coho by Vistaland is being bullish right away by providing our market a venue to bounce back by growing their investments again. The Hermosa Coho answers what we call the new normal.
With its very strategic location within the perimeter of the 100-hectare township of Vista Global South, where all your conveniences will be located, commercial complex, retail shops, entertainment hubs, and many more. Also, the Hermosa Coho has an exclusive count of residents since it is a mid-rise development and has more green spaces, which answers the requirement for social distancing. And to add more, the units are online, automated, ready, keeping up with the technology. We cannot discount also the fact of the very evident growth of prices. Our investors in the Hermosa Coho are all winners for being wise in choosing their property. So to all who took their time to join us today, I would like to thank all of you, most importantly, Sheila Lobien of the Lobien Group Realty for giving us good news about our economy and how to move forward from here and where to put our investments even during this time of pandemic. Again, in behalf of my team, Coho by Vistaland, I wish everyone well and good afternoon to all of you.
All right, for inquiries, if you have buyers for presentation, if you want to reserve a unit, please connect with us. My number is 0956-654-8258, and my email address is stephanie_hara@coho.com.ph.
Once again, thank you for coming to our exclusive webinar. Thank you and have a nice day.